Other than today being incredibly slow, it was pretty good. Dang. Woo, this is ColourPop liquid liner. I swear the first one I bought was so good. Like going to the gym, it never did this. It didn't do this. But like just that first tube was super duper good. And then like every one I bought after that, they all do this. They feel sticky and they smudge. It's crazy. But whatever. This is not what that's about. It was a pretty good day driving for Uber Eats. I got to where I drive around 10:50 a.m. and I left that area. I think I was home by like 11 p.m. I'm not complaining. Like I've mentioned, I like the downtime because I read. I just park somewhere in the shade and I read. And I started reading chapter 2 of Say It With Me. Beyond Order, 12 More Rules. So, super enthralling. I love Mr. Peterson's works. So, anyway, I think I ended up at about like 89 for the day. Not terrible. It's really not terrible. And I was wrong earlier when I said Thursdays have been the best. Thursdays have not been the best days. Monday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like the first Sunday was really good. Monday was really good. Saturdays are just really, really good. Saturdays are like, upwards of 150. And then Fridays, surprisingly, are the slowest that I've had. The slowest days so far. And, man, I'm jumping all over the place here, but apartments, I don't like I don't like having to go to apartments at night. It's so tricky, and it's so difficult for me to find them. Luckily, people are pretty cool. Like, they don't mind coming out, if I'm having a hard time finding their place. Like tonight, I mean, it kind of sucks because it ended up costing me about $22 for 2 different orders with estimated tips totaling over $10. One was like 11, one was like 10.93. So I had a Raising Cane's order, and it was to go to an apartment complex. Simple enough. I mean, I know the apartments. I knew where they were. It wasn't a big deal. But there wasn't an apartment number. It was just the location, and it said meet at the door. So I was like, that's kind of vague. And so I was like, whatever, maybe I'll just go to a central location, and I'll message them or I'll call them and ask them where I'm to meet them. And so that's exactly what I did. But I started calling the number that was attached to that account, and some person, gosh, what was her name? It doesn't matter what her name was, and it was for a dude. And I was like, what? Whose number am I calling? Like, who am I blowing up right now? But it was some chick, and I was like, well, this is not promising. So the timer started. You get like an 8-minute timer, I guess, when you arrive. And after that mark, you're completely within your rights or whatever to cancel the order and discard the food or eat it or whatever. I don't know what people do. I haven't encountered that yet. So I was messaging and waiting patiently, and while I was waiting, one order popped up for, I think it was Cotton Patch. Yeah, it was Cotton Patch. It was like $11.92 or something. I was like, dang. So I wanted to accept it, but then I didn't know how much longer I was going to be sitting at that location waiting on this dude. So I was like, I canceled it reluctantly, and I felt like it was the right thing to do because I didn't want to make that other person, have to wait a long time. So I didn't accept it, and then they still hadn't responded. Like, a minute went by and another order for Taco Bell came through, and I let that one go as well. And then about a minute later, the timer had gotten down to like 3 minutes remaining. So he texted me back finally within the app, and he was like, "Hey, I'm coming to the mailboxes," because that's where I told him I was. I was pretty centrally located at the mailboxes, and so I was like, "Cool." So I went and I got out, so he could see me, and I saw him approaching. So I was like, "Hey, are you waiting on Uber Eats?" And he's like, "Yes." And so I took him his order, and then I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Hey, man, there was no apartment number or anything. Like, what's up with that?" I was being jovial. I wasn't like eating his ass or anything like that. Like, I wasn't bitching him out. I was just being jovial and light, keeping it light. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see an option to do that." And I don't know what it's like on the Uber Eats app as far as ordering food. I've never used it. I've used I think I've used like Grubhub, and that's it. So anyway, he said that like the app was tripping, and I was like, "I swear to God, I swear it's tripping." Anyway, so I gave him his food, and I was like, again, just keeping it light. I was like, "Hey man, thanks for not making me have to eat this delicious chicken, because I'm trying to slim down. I'm trying to lose this gut, and I appreciate you coming out to meet me." And he just laughed, and he ended up giving me a $4 tip, which was really nice. And I'm not sure if I said it already, but he said it was his first time using the app. And I just thanked him for, I thanked him for using Uber Eats, and I told him to have a good night. So then as I was pulling out of the parking lot, another Taco Bell order came through for another apartment building. And that was, it wasn't any easier. It wasn't any better. I did get an apartment number this time though, and a building number, but it was so dim. I mean, it wasn't dim. That implies there's light. It was dark. It was so dark. And I saw building 14. So I was looking for building 13, and I wasn't sure if it was like across or next to it, which, I mean, I've never lived in an apartment building, so I'm still figuring out, how to navigate in those things. And I messaged that guy, or I called him, or no, I messaged him. This one though, he didn't have the name of the apartments. He just had the street address to the apartments. And I was like, "Hey, are you at wherever it was?" I don't even remember at this point. And he was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay, I see building 14. Where's 13? It's so dark. Like, help." And he was like, "Oh, I'll come outside. I'm wearing a cap." So I was like, "Cool. That's really nice. I appreciate that." So I told him, I was like, at this point, I feel like I would do better on foot. So I parked like in the middle of a side street. It was not a parking spot. So I parked, and I was grabbing his bag, and I was going to get out and, just start walking to meet him, look for a dude in a hat, And then I looked over, and he was like right outside the window, and I was like, "Ha!" And I rolled down the window. I was like, "You scared the shit out of me, dude." And then he just kind of chuckled a little bit. And then I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I apologize for the delay, but it's just, this app is terrible. The ping is never where you are. It's like near, but it doesn't show me how to get to you once I'm at the apartments." So again, I apologize. And then he made a note, a verbal note and a mental note that he should add the name of the apartment building on there. And he was asking like if I use like a different app to navigate. And I was like, "No, it's all within Uber Eats." And I showed him on the map like where the ping was in relation to where he actually was. And he was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand." And then he was like, I think I already said this, but he was like, "I should probably put the name of the apartment in there." And I was like, "Yeah, that would be helpful." And it would also be really helpful if they would light up the signs, or like light up the building numbers. Like, damn, it's crazy. It's almost like they don't want you in there if you don't live there. Like, where you live because you live there. But if you don't live there, it's like, don't go there because you're not going to find your way around. Anyway, he left a 350 tip, which, I mean, hey man, that's cool for me. I'm appreciative, big time. I didn't have to leave town. I didn't have to go anywhere very far, so that was cool. And everybody tipped today, like 100% tips today, which was awesome also. But it's like oh my god, it's about to be midnight, and I'm gonna try to be in my driving area for breakfast rush. I'm so tired. I am tired, so I'm gonna go. And feel free to comment, like, if you even made it this far. Thumbs up the video. I usually don't ask for that, but I'm gonna start asking for that, just so I know that you made it this far. Just, you know, a request from me to you, just to let me know if I held your interest or whatever. And if you drive for Uber Eats, like, share a story with me or something. Like, how do you deal with apartments? How do you deal with the confusion of apartment buildings? Maybe you handle it like a boss. Maybe they don't confuse you at all. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, good night.